Here, parenting is hard. This one knows it, but there are some strategies that can help parents get through the tougher parts.
Yeah, and with toddlers especially, there are a lot of tough parts. I'm living it. That's why we're talking with national parenting coach and author Danielle Lindner to get some advice for you. She just wrote a new book called The Parent's Pocket Guide to Surviving the Preschool Years, One Challenge at a Time. I love that, one challenge at a time.
Thank you.
I feel like every day, Danielle, it's like one step at a time, one day at a time, because some of the themes and things that happen just can become and feel overwhelming.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, personally, I thought my whole house was baby-proofed when I had my first daughter, and it was perfect. And then I had the second one, and I had, you know, a gate in front of the stairs. And I came in and she was climbing up the rungs.
Oh,
like, how do you baby-proof for that?
Yeah.
So, like, all right, there's always a challenge. But what I like to tell parents through my book and through coaching is that as long as you have tools and strategies, you can get through it.
Yeah.
Parents have been doing this forever, and there's no child that we can't figure out. It just sometimes it takes a little longer for some than others.
Right. You can't always prepare for things, but if you're
Right.
armed with the resources and the tools to deal with those unforeseen situations, you'll be okay.
Tell us about your background. It's pretty important, and you're a pretty important person there.
Thank you. So I have a background in elementary education, and then 14 years ago, I decided I really wanted to start a preschool called the London Day School that was really filling the gaps that I felt my kids weren't getting. So I wanted them to have really good character education, because I feel like if you teach kids to be kind, good, caring people, which sometimes we're not seeing lately, then it's going to help the world, and it's going to help bring them, you know, through elementary school and through college. Also to have, you know, good morals, to feel good about themselves. Combating schoolyard bullies is easy when someone feels good about themselves. The bullies are usually the kids that don't feel secure, that don't feel good about themselves. So we implement programs to make kids, you know, be good public speakers, to be stewards of you know, social action projects. Even a 4-year-old can collect pennies for puppies, you know, and feel good about it.
That's very true.
It translates in a bigger way.
It does.
Right?
They feel I can do something.
Yeah.
And giving kids that stewardship over something is really important, I think. So we bring in STEM, character education, and just teaching kids about the world and being good citizens of the world.
Now, you coined the term trickle-down education. Is that all applicable to what you're talking about for that?
So over the years, I do a lot of parent coaching, and parents will say, I don't know what to do. My child's having tantrums. My child is not being kind. My child is fighting with their siblings. My child is rude. And I say, what are you doing at home? When you go out to eat, are you kind to your server if your hamburger is rare and you wanted it, you know, medium well, or are you nasty?
Right.
Are you rough at home? When you come home from work, are you doing like rough and tumble playing, which is fine, but then they're going to probably do that at preschool with their friends because they see that as an example.
Very interesting.
Are you fighting with your husband or wife at home in front of your children? You know, they are sponges, and set the example that you want your child to be, and then, you know, you're going to get good results from that.
I'm still tethered to my mother. Separation anxiety was a big issue for me. They had to pull me out of nursery school because I was so attached to my mother. I didn't make it through nursery school. It was only until kindergarten that I started kind of getting away from that. How do you deal with that?
Well, there are a couple of things. We had the same issue. They actually banned my husband from dropping my daughter off at preschool because he kept bringing her home. I said, she's never going to get accustomed to this if you don't leave her. So we say, if you can, do like a staggered approach. Leave them for 15 minutes, stay in the parking lot, leave them for half an hour, then build up to an hour.
That's a really good idea.
And that way, the key for kids is two things: consistency and knowing you're coming back. So if they know you're coming back, they feel confident. Also, if you have separation anxiety as a parent and you're talking about it in the car or talking about it with your spouse, oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm nervous about sending them to school. all that scared and negative energy is going to go on the child. So even if you were totally freaking out like I was with my first daughter, don't let them see it.
Right, right.
And just, breathe. And when you pick up from school, don't say things like, was it okay? Was it all right? Did you miss mommy? Say, tell me about the best thing you did today.
How fun was it?
Tell me how great it was.
Yeah.
Positive, positive, positive.
And we're running out of time, but I just want to make sure we sneak this question in. What is the number one thing that parents should ask for, ask a prospective preschool, that is, when they are interviewing them?
Make sure they are state certified, first of all, and regulated, but also ask them what their behavior management technique is. Is it a positive approach or a negative approach? Do they use timeout, or do they use catching children being good and promoting that positive energy? As that's what I think really works for kids the best in the long run.
That's terrific.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
Where can we find you?
You can find me at DanielleLindner.com, Lindner. You can find my book there, as well as parent coaching.
Wonderful. We appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
I
coming.
don't even have kids and I feel better.
Right? Isn't it good? Well, you can have some of mine to babysit anytime. And by the way, Mommyhood Unscripted, a new episode just dropped this morning, and it's actually with Dana Brown, our 5-minute fitness coach.
I love Dana.
Yeah, she's talking all about how we can really tap into the self-care and get your body moving. You deserve it, mamas. And of course, we are going to be interviewing Danielle too. She's going to be on Mommyhood Unscripted, so look for that episode in the near future as well.
All right, where you can find unique